Everyone thinks Attack on Titan is about giant monsters eating people. They think it's about humanity's struggle for survival, about freedom versus oppression, about the horrors of war. And sure, it's about all of those things on the surface. But there's a hidden message buried deep in the story that most people completely missed. A message so profound, so controversial, so relevant to our current world, that it transforms the entire series from entertainment into prophecy. This isn't just about Titans or Eldians or Marley. This is about the most dangerous cycle in human history, and why we keep repeating it no matter how much we swear we've learned from the past. If this kind of deep dive into anime philosophy interests you, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a like. It really helps the channel grow. And I'm curious, what's your take on how history repeats itself in cycles of violence? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one. The hidden message of Attack on Titan isn't about Titans at all. It's about how oppressed groups become oppressors, how victims become perpetrators, and how the cycle of violence perpetuates itself across generations. Think about the structure of the story. First, we see humans as helpless victims being devoured by mindless giants. Then we discover that Titans are actually humans transformed against their will. Then we learn that the people inside the walls are the descendants of an empire that once oppressed the world. Every revelation flips the victim-oppressor dynamic, showing us that today's oppressed were yesterday's oppressors, and today's oppressors were yesterday's oppressed. This isn't just clever storytelling. It's a psychological insight into how real-world conflicts perpetuate themselves. Every act of violence is justified by a previous act of violence. Every oppression is rationalized as payback for past oppression. But here's where Attack on Titan gets truly brilliant. It shows you exactly how this cycle is maintained through propaganda and collective memory. Watch how each side tells their story. The Eldians remember being victims of Marleyan oppression. The Marleyans remember being victims of the Eldian Empire. Both versions are true, and both versions are incomplete. Each group remembers their own suffering vividly, while minimizing or forgetting the suffering they've caused others. Each group sees their violence as justified self-defense, while seeing the other group's violence as unprovoked aggression. Sound familiar? This is exactly how real-world ethnic conflicts, religious wars, and political divisions work. Every side has legitimate grievances, and every side uses those grievances to justify actions that create new grievances for the other side. Here's what Attack on Titan understands about human psychology that most stories miss. Hatred isn't born from direct experience. It's inherited through stories, memories, and collective identity. Most of the characters who hate each other have never actually been harmed by the people they hate. Gabby hates Eldians because of stories she's been told. Eren hates Marleyans because of memories he's inherited. The cycle continues not because of ongoing conflict, but because of past conflict that gets passed down through generations. This reveals something disturbing about human nature. We're capable of feeling genuine hatred for people who have never personally wronged us, based entirely on group identity and historical narrative. And this inherited hatred feels just as real and justified as hatred born from personal experience. Maybe more so because it comes with the weight of collective suffering and cultural identity. But the deepest message in Attack on Titan is about freedom itself, and this is where it gets truly uncomfortable. Eren's entire motivation is freedom. He wants to be free from the walls, free from the Titans, free from the cycle of oppression. But in pursuing absolute freedom for his people, he becomes the ultimate oppressor of everyone else. This isn't just ironic, it's inevitable. The pursuit of absolute freedom for one group necessarily means the oppression of other groups. Your freedom to do whatever you want conflicts with other people's freedom to be safe from your actions. Attack on Titan suggests that the dream of absolute freedom is not just impossible, it's dangerous, because people who believe they deserve absolute freedom will justify absolutely anything to achieve it. Here's the message that makes people uncomfortable. There are no heroes and villains in Attack on Titan. There are only people trying to protect their own groups, and every action that protects one group harms another group. Eren isn't evil. He's trying to save his friends and his people. But saving his people requires destroying other people. The Marleyans aren't evil. They're trying to protect themselves from what they see as a dangerous threat. But protecting themselves requires oppressing the Eldians. This is the hidden message that transforms Attack on Titan from fantasy into commentary. In the real world, most conflicts aren't between good and evil. They're between competing goods, competing needs, competing definitions of justice. And when you truly understand this, it becomes impossible to watch the news the same way ever again. Every generation swears they've learned from history. Never again, we say after every genocide, every war, every cycle of violence. But Attack on Titan shows us exactly why never again is a comforting lie. Because the lesson we learn from history is always, don't do exactly what the bad guys did. We never learn, don't become the bad guys through different methods. The Eldians learned not to use Titans to oppress people, so instead, they used rumbling to destroy people. The method changed, but the cycle continued. This is why history repeats itself. We focus on preventing the specific actions of past oppressors, while ignoring the psychological and social conditions that create oppressors in the first place. So, what is the hidden message that made Attack on Titan legendary? It's this: the cycle of violence isn't maintained by evil people doing evil things. It's maintained by good people doing what they believe is necessary to protect their loved ones. Every character in Attack on Titan is trying to be a hero to their own group. Every action is motivated by love, loyalty, and the desire to protect innocent people. And yet, these noble motivations create a world of endless suffering. The hidden message isn't that people are evil. It's that people are human, and human nature, left unchecked, creates cycles of violence that no amount of good intentions can break. Attack on Titan offers no easy solutions because there are no easy solutions. Breaking the cycle requires someone to accept injustice without retaliating, to absorb harm without passing it on, to choose the good of humanity over the good of their own group. And this is psychologically almost impossible. It goes against every instinct of survival, loyalty, and justice that makes us human. The tragedy of Attack on Titan isn't that everyone dies. It's that everyone was trying to do the right thing, and the right thing led to catastrophe. This is why Attack on Titan became legendary. It holds up a mirror to our own world and forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about human nature and historical cycles. Every political conflict, every ethnic tension, every culture war follows the same pattern. Both sides have legitimate grievances. Both sides see themselves as defensive. Both sides justify their actions through the lens of protecting their people from the other side's aggression. And both sides are right, and both sides are wrong. And the cycle continues. The hidden message of Attack on Titan isn't that humanity is doomed to repeat cycles of violence forever. It's that breaking these cycles requires us to see beyond our own group identity, to recognize the humanity in our enemies, and to accept that true justice might require sacrificing our own group's interests for the greater good. This is the hardest lesson in human history, and it's why we keep failing to learn it, because it asks us to be more than human, to transcend the tribal instincts that kept our species alive for millennia, but now threaten to destroy us. Attack on Titan doesn't offer hope for an easy solution, but it offers something more valuable: understanding. And maybe, just maybe, understanding is the first step toward breaking cycles that have trapped humanity for thousands of years. The question isn't whether you'll face this choice in your own life. The question is, when you do, will you have the courage to choose humanity over your tribe? Will you be able to see the cycle clearly enough to step outside of it? Because in the end, that might be the only way any of us achieve real freedom.